Good day, everyone. Richard Cowperthwait for Northwest Access TV. Thanks for joining us for another show. And nice to be back after a long road trip, trying to get caught up with things around here, and I'm sure two people will help me with that very much today. Jonathan Giroux, the chairman of the St. Albans Town Select Board, and town manager Sean Adkins. Thanks for joining me, folks. Good to see you.
You too.
So, Jonathan, congratulations, I guess, are due. You're back in as chair. This is, again, congrats. I realize it's not a job everybody goes for, but happy to be back as chair.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, with a new manager on board.
That's right. That's right. In your old stint, you didn't have this guy next to you,
Right,
as manager.
right. So I think it's gonna be interesting. I think we're gonna keep moving the town forward in the right direction for
Yeah.
sure.
And Jeff Sanders, vice chair at
Jeff
this point.
Sanders is vice chair. Yes.
Right. Brian Deloria had been the chair, and Jack Brigham the vice chair last time around.
Correct.
Again, I should know we're taping this show on Tuesday, May 7th, and I guess I should start. You had a select board meeting last night, Monday,
Yes, we did.
May 6th. Any big news coming out of that meeting?
We petitioned to the state about our CLA, and we got it like a half a percentage rate higher.
Common
So-
level of appraisal figuring into the
So-
school tax situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it actually saved
156.
156,000. So
Huh.
we petitioned it. Bill Hinman, our assessor, he told us to, petition to the state. It was what property was it? I can't remember.
I think that was in the industrial park, wasn't it?
Yeah, it could have been. It was a property that, they had us assessed at pretty high, so we got that figured out. And
Huh.
so we saved a little bit of money. It's not gonna have a big effect on your tax bill, but it's better than nothing.
Better than the other direction.
Yeah, so-
And what about reappraisal? I think St. Albans City has started the reappraisal process, as have a lot of communities. What about St. Albans Town? Do you need a reappraisal or not at this point?
It's being a new Vermonter.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't be the one that answers this, but we're I would say it's coming up in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
We talked about that last night too. So
Boy, it sounds like a lot of communities are dealing with that, including St. Albans, I'm sure other folks in Franklin County. Boy, the school property tax situation, not your bailiwick, probably fortunately for you guys, but huge issue in Vermont. I trust maybe you remind people at times, and again, the budget in St. Albans Town has certainly gone up with the police situation and stuff, but I suspect you might remind people that tax bills are typically, 3/4 on the school side and less on the municipal side. Sounds like municipalities generally do a pretty good job of keeping things as low as they can. But boy, the school situation, I mean, I can only assume you hear comments from people out there who are a bit freaked out just about school taxes and stuff.
Yeah, I asked Anna last night, the town clerk,
Yeah.
and she said there's been a lot of people, like, well, what's the tax gonna be,
Yeah.
coming up? I think it's still kind of unknown. I know it's gonna be at least 10%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when we did our budget for this fiscal year coming up, I think we sharpened it as much as we could.
And you had, as I recall, a pretty big break with a pretty good surplus from the previous year,
Yes,
or I
we
guess the
did.
current year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
600,000, which,
up to between the sheriff's Franklin County Sheriff's budget kind of being over because of the short staff, and also the us already starting to pay for the city, or I guess they just call it the St. Albans Police now. But we've already begun the process, which was in the agreement, to kind of essentially start the onboarding process for the new officers. So it's not going to be 600, but we put up to on the ballot. So but there will be a surplus.
right. And touched on police, certainly a big issue in St. Albans Town. Come July 1st, St. Albans City PD retaking command of St. Albans Town.
Mm-hmm.
How, in fact, I talked to a town resident yesterday who tends to, keep track of things, and he was very concerned about the staffing for City PD. Can you get into that at all? Do they not have the staffing they'd like to have or need to have?
We'll do it in part when the agreement was announced, which was just before I got here. Some of the Franklin County Department actually, I believe this is true, I could be off on this, actually kind of transitioned over, switched to city police because they're local. They didn't want to, just be in the area still. So I don't think it's dire or anything. I think actually they're on pace to hit the mark. But as Chief Lamoth will say, you know, anything can happen, retirements, anything like that.
Yeah.
But I know for our former chairman, Brian Deloria, he was on the interview panel for a good number of candidates the other day. So
Yeah.
we were talking about that. So they're on pace. You know, let's keep our fingers crossed. Hope they hit it.
And are there a couple, there's a police advisory board, are there two different boards kind of dealing with this?
The Joint Police Board
Yeah.
is the basically the city and the town. You know, we appointed, Jack Brigham, Brian Delorier, and Al Vogel for our three.
Yeah.
And then the city had their three as well. And and then there's me and Dom. Obviously, we don't have a vote, but that's mostly for the budget. You
Yeah.
know, so to kind of work with the chief on basically whatever he needs. The police advisory, either council or committee.
Committee.
Police advisory committee?
Yeah, I'm not sure how active that is at the moment.
Yeah.
I think that was largely put in place. Well, it was earlier. So again, maybe there's something that you should talk about because it was before my time.
Yeah, I think our police advisory committee, as far as the town goes, is no longer. Like I don't even think they have meet. If they do, it may be a 6-month stretch, but I don't
Yeah.
think they meet anymore. I believe the city still has one, and I don't know how that's going to incorporate into us. You know, it's just an advisory committee, so they
Okay.
advise. They don't make a vote. They don't make
Right.
policy
So the
decisions.
Joint Police Board, that's the key body here dealing with this.
I would say so, yes. And then, you know, to address the staffing issues, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a nationwide issue,
Yeah,
you
we
know.
talked off air just about-
Yeah, and it's not just policing.
Yeah, sure.
It's every profession.
Yeah.
You know, there's a shortage. And last time Mo Lamoth came down and talked to us, they were on track to meet the needs, you
Yeah.
know, of the town. So I don't see no concern, but you know, that could change any day. You know.
No, it sounds like it continues to be a huge issue for just about everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
So again, but the sheriff, and I guess they've run into some staffing issues, but Sheriff's Department, I mean, Phil has done a pretty decent job with their last years with the town. Is kind of staffing, and that's become a bit of an issue.
Yeah, I think so. At least he made us aware of it up front and didn't like short side us and you know.
You did end up saving some money on what you thought you'd be paying.
Yeah, we did. You know, there's certain areas that are probably having some traffic issues right now that
Yeah.
you know can't get addressed 100%. But you know, the sheriff does have a short staff, and he's doing the best he can with the
Yeah.
resources he has at the time.
Yeah. And come July 1st, of course, as we said, City PD takes over in the town. At that point, they drop Highgate, so they won't be dealing with Highgate anymore. And the Sheriff's Department, I think, has at least got a 3-year contract, if not more, with Highgate, so some changes coming out.
Yeah.
So will this be different kind of cover? Have you got a handle on, are you looking for a different kind of coverage when City PD takes over, or any changes in how they intend to patrol the town, or do you not really hear much about that?
I think they're going like the quadrants route. Not
I
halves.
think differently than when they were last in the town, I think. But
Yes, and plus, from what I understand, again,
Yeah.
plus they're adding the street crimes unit. So
right,
that's
so that sounds like that's coming back.
Mhm.
Yeah, I see the ad out in the paper for
Yeah, really.
a lead detective to head up that
Really,
department.
that's right.
Yeah.
What do you hear? I mean, obviously, you hear crime, speeding. I mean, I'm always hearing speeding concerns. What are the biggest issues on the police crime front, Jonathan, that you hear from townspeople?
Usually it's traffic stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there is some drug issues throughout the town, and with every town throughout the United States, it seems
Yeah.
like drugs are a big problem. And you know, and I think I voiced this a little bit when we talked about adding a street crimes unit. Like, I think it's just a Band-Aid, but it's also
Yeah.
necessary. Like, it seems
Yeah.
like a lot of money to spend to try to curb the drug problem. You're just kind of pushing it out to other areas, you know, and I think some police professionals will agree with us. Like, you push it out to the municipalities when you do that. But you do get some off the streets. You don't always win, you know, but it takes 3, 4, 5 arrests before you can finally get them
Yeah.
put away to stay out of the area, you know, which is hard to believe.
A lot of the drug stuff has led to kind of like the petty theft also. And even on the St. Albans community page, you see people posting on Facebook, you see people posting the ring cameras and stuff of people just coming and taking items off of people's porches and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think in large part that's either the homeless or the drug problem. If you talk to police, that they think leads to that.
Yeah, no, it sounds like ongoing issues for sure. So July 1st, again, big news, City PD takes over in St. Albans Town. And also, of course, part of the, I think aptly referred to as the historic agreement between the city and town getting into the water wastewater issue. Does the affiliation fee, which town was very unhappy with, does that go away July 1st? That it was halved last July 1st, so
Yeah.
that's almost gone.
Correct. Yeah.
How many people has that been affecting, or property owners? I mean,
Around 40, I believe.
Yeah.
so not insignificant
Not a
number,
lot, no.
but not a
Yeah.
ton of people.
But the amount of money that brought in was pretty significant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you had one or two people in the industrial park that paid that affiliation fee also.
Yeah.
So that, that drives the price up
And
pretty good.
speaking of big goings on in the industrial park, Ben and Jerry's had a new facility going up next to them. Is that
That was the
Oh, the
fuel,
bio-
to recycle their fuel and use it
Right.
again. I believe that's still in the works, but
Yeah.
it hasn't gone up yet.
and there's still some more room in the park. And of course, Tim Smith's day job, Franklin County Industrial Development Corp. On top of that stuff, any rumblings about any new people coming in or new companies?
I guess I'll let Tim answer that one.
Yeah. But there's some more room in the
Mhm.
town industrial park.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 lots over
Yeah.
there.
Oh.
They're not huge lots, but I think I've heard some rumblings that
Mhm.
there's some movement on
Yeah.
those lots.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some. Yeah, we're all working.
Well, it's certainly, and there are a lot of jobs. I mean, I'm so used to, not so much maybe in recent years, but in my many years up here, just people lamenting, hey, it's too bad everybody has to go to Burlington to work. There are a bunch of jobs available up here, and as we talked, labor short, sounds like everybody's looking for more help.
Yeah,
For
which
sure.
ties into the housing, kind of crisis. issue.
Another huge issue.
Yeah.
I have run into one person in particular who said, hey, Richard, talk to the St. Albans Town people. They're doing nothing with affordable housing.
Yeah.
Is anything going on with affordable or otherwise housing, John or Jonathan?
I would like to point you to
Yeah,
the NRPC housing assessment. It's pretty
Northwest
good.
Regional Planning Commission.
Northwest Regional Planning Commission. They did a housing assessment, and I believe the dates are 2000 to 2020, and you
Huh.
can, and it shows different.
In fact,
you
I
know-
want to track that. I haven't talked to Catherine Dimitruk and you. I want to track, hopefully get her on the.
Yeah, you
here
can
and
see how
through
many
lots of
housing
things.
units each community throughout Franklin
So they
County
did a
has
survey
added,
on
or
this.
yeah, it's a pretty good report. You should sit down and read it. You'd be
Huh.
really surprised on
Really?
what towns are doing what.
Yeah.
I think that really sheds a good light on it.
Yeah. St. Albans City
far as-
certainly seems to be doing its share with the 72-unit apartment building down on Lake Street that's going up. Certainly some stuff going this, I guess,
Yeah.
they're hoping to hook up now with, I guess, Cathedral Square
Mhm.
at the Fonda
Over
Soul
Fonda.
site.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have done quite the overhaul with our zoning bylaws.
Yeah,
But truth be told, without water sewer, that's kind of the next step. It's hard to really do much on that front, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Any type of mixed use, kind of like something on Lake Street, or not even that grand, maybe something smaller than that,
Yeah.
but still have more than 10 units is really close to impossible in today's kind of developer climate.
and again, especially without municipal water and sewer
Yeah.
without that.
It's becoming increasingly difficult to kind of get a developer to build 2 giant tanks, or a well and a septic for a major thing. And community wells are I would say mostly a thing of the past, which I could think what people used to use for
Yeah.
not major developments, but you could still use that for multi-units. So without the water sewer, it's a pretty tough task to even without incentives to just say, hey, do this here. Maybe we can work with a developer to get them to do that. It's really hard to do that without.
The legislature is certainly trying to give that issue attention. Didn't they make it easier for people to do duplexes in towns? Legislature's been trying to get some more housing going.
Well,
Mhm.
the way I read it is,
Yeah.
is if you're on water and sewer, any
Yeah.
place they allow a single family home, you can have up to a fourplex.
Yeah.
Some people like to not read the rules the same way as some people do, but I mean, the state is telling you to do this, so I don't know. So we passed the new zoning bylaws, I think last year,
Mhm.
that
Fall.
said, if you're on water sewer, you can go up to a 4-unit. If you're
Huh.
on just conventional septic, you
Septic.
can get, wherever you can have a single family home, you can have a duplex.
Okay.
So I think we're trying to help with the housing crisis.
Yeah.
I think the water and sewer, now that we have that deal with the city, I think there's certain places throughout the town where we can extend water and sewer. Our planning commission is having a joint meeting with the city planning commission coming up, which Al Vogel spearheaded, and I believe it was Al Vogel, and they're going to talk about, housing and stuff. What can we work on together? Like expanding water and sewer.
Yeah.
So I don't know who you heard that we're not doing our part, but I think we're going above and beyond.
Yeah.
Others.
So some
Sure.
some movement there.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. With what we've got, I'd say we couldn't do more. It might not look like a lot right now, but we're doing a whole lot of stuff behind the scenes
Yeah.
to try to make that feasible.
Speaking of municipal water and sewer, some talk over possibility of some kind of facility down in the St. Albans Bay area. Is that still getting attention, or does that just seem
Like
very unlikely?
The decentralized system.
Yeah, whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, I think there was talks of that before I got here. Again, I'd say that was before the water sewer agreement.
Yeah.
So even in terms of just the basic real estate of that, I don't think it's a fit at the moment. But nothing's out of the question. There haven't been any hard no's on any projects. We're just
Yeah.
trying to figure out what fits and what's the best value and how we can basically get water sewer. Yeah,
But
period.
city-town, again, with the agreement, city-town relations, sounds like they're doing pretty well. Any other areas where you might be able to find some common ground, or that you're looking into finding some common ground and cooperation?
Town of Swanton, naturally, is obviously the north of us. Their
Even
growth center is.
Looking up around exit 20 for,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, their growth center is one of their growth centers is right, basically attached to one of our northern growth center, zoning center, and potentially too, they've got their water down at the southwest corner of their town, so that's again all part of conversations, and right now they're just conversations just to kind of figure out what we can do.
yeah. Any news of note with the former town hall? Which seems to get in the news every once in a while.
It's got a for sale sign in
does,
front
Front
of
of
it.
the for sale sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, we click the reset button on that, put an RFP out for commercial broker, real estate, SR Smith got that award. So it's listed, I believe nationally right now. It's been shown to developers, investors, and I think our plan was to keep it on the market for at least 90 days. So we're just ready to find somebody to make it what they want to make it into. Yeah.
Interesting.
As vague as that is.
The folks who were starting the new school, of course, had some interest in that. Had they found another place, Is there,
To my knowledge, no.
is that
They're
right?
putting it off another year.
No,
just
no,
'cause
is that
of-
right? It's
yeah.
gonna be a year?
Just far as staffing for them, they
Yeah.
they had a drop dead date.
No,
stuff
really?
like that, yeah.
Or yet another staffing issue, I guess, getting in there, huh?
Well, it was just they needed a
Especially
certain
with
amount of
that
time to
on
get
list.
it going.
Yeah.
So they kind of ran out of time, and they need a building also, right? I think it would be a good thing for this area to have an alternative school.
Yeah,
Like, that's just my opinion.
anyway, so that's gonna be a year later. The former town hall got through winter, I mean, you kept it heated, got through winter
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's actually in better shape than I think most people think it is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a shiny new toy by any means, but actually I looked into. We got people to look at the roof. I just kind of figured that the roof was in rough shape, and
Yeah.
it's not at all. It's some minor patching. It's it's in pretty good shape.
interesting.
It's hard to get old pictures, by the way. If anybody has pictures of that old building, I heard of the stage upstairs. I could never find anything like that.
Really?
It's one of the things that I'd like to show to potential developers and investors, to show what it used to be and what it could be.
So it is for sale.
Mhm.
If someone had interest just in leasing, you would talk to them? I mean, you would just ideally like to sell it, but are you open-minded about if someone wants to use it and, rent it from you, or does you much prefer to sell it?
My answer would be prefer to sell it,
Yeah.
without a doubt, yeah.
Jonathan, you'd really like to sell it?
Well, I'd like to sell it, but if the right opportunity presents itself,
Yeah.
you gotta look at what's best for the community also,
Mhm. It's part of who will eventually get it. And either way, it's not necessarily about somebody offering us $1 million for it.
Yeah.
They're welcome to, but
For sure.
it's about the best, the best fit for the community, best use, and see what we don't want it to just sit there empty, so.
And the price tag, there's a specific price you're looking for this building, or?
It was appraised at in the low 300s, 310,
Yeah.
320. So it's, we'll see where we can get.
And in the same neighborhood, the former Public Works garage site, what's plans for that? What's going on with the future of that site? If anything, I mean, they're talking about another, at least, boat access area, at least for like kayaks or canoes, but Jonathan, anything nailed down there?
So VHB, I believe, was the
Mhm.
engineering firm that presented the planning commission with 3 different designs. There was some type of a playground to a kayak launch to a smaller boat launch, and there was a couple other things on. I think there was like a pond there.
Stormwater.
Oh, it was a stormwater pond. Yeah, of course, I forgot
Yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a couple different renderings. We chatted about them a little bit on the select board, but I don't think there's nothing set in stone yet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk about extending the sidewalk. Will there be a sidewalk maybe extended from there over to the town hall?
Mhm.
Just in case you could use that for extra parking if need be?
Yeah, and that's actually a kind of a good segue where we just awarded to SE Group. They won the bid for our master plan for the whole village district. So they're basically doing a soup to nuts assessment, and everything from zoning to traffic oriented developments and basically everything for the whole village district, and a little bit extended. That'll include sidewalks and basically what we want to see as the future of the bay. And there'll be community meetings for that too, where we just signed the contract for that yesterday. So it's it'll be very public and very involved. But it'll include
And
sidewalks.
St. Albans Bay does have a village designation?
Village center designation.
Village center.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down there about every other day in the park. I do a lot of walking down there. The Bay Dock, pretty much, I think you can just about walk on lake level, just about right at the dock level.
Yeah.
They're about 98 feet above sea level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess it peaked out about 99. I guess there was no flooding earlier in the spring.
Yeah.
Just a little short of flooding.
I gauge it by if the water's in the road or not down
Yeah,
there.
and
that's
that didn't-
good.
didn't
If
quite-
it
didn't
gets
quite
onto
make
the
it.
road, then there's a little bit of
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
peaked about a foot below the 100-foot flood stage.
Yeah.
So the dock certainly gets some attention over the years. At one point, a few years ago, there was a serious effort to maybe look at that and put some money, but we've talked about this before, talking some pretty serious bucks to do any real work on the dock.
It's in the millions. Yeah.
Is that in the millions?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Wow.
that's the figure I saw from I think 5-6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it was a lot of money. I don't think the benefit didn't really
Cost benefit ratio didn't. look
Yeah,
like
it didn't
would
really
work out.
pay out too
Yeah.
well for the
Yeah.
community. I think there's other things we can do, like the sidewalk and whatever we do at the
Mhm.
old DPW site.
And the old stone house.
No,
certainly.
that's another one. That's if we.
Are you getting some? I know you've been trying to get some bucks to do some work on that. Have you had some success with that?
But no, we haven't.
Oh.
We've talked a lot to the state. We haven't formally put in any grant applications for it. Kind of every time, this has been several. There's only been 1 or 2 genuine, I guess, attempts to kind of go through with it. And every time we get to one part where we kind of pull back and say, hey, which direction do we want to go with this? It's just the historic nature of it has been, it's a blessing, but also kind of a curse. To kind of make it into a year-round venue and stuff like that is proving to be more difficult than we anticipated, at least than I anticipated, just because there's only so much you can do to it. You know, the bathhouse portions have no natural light, as everybody knows.
The bathrooms aren't exactly the nicest bathrooms in the world.
No, and they're on opposite end. There's a whole lot of things that seem like little things that we could do that we're just trying to work through and make sure that it's just done correctly. So, and we're about to release an RFP out for architectural and design services, actually for it to get a modern plan of what we can do for it, what'll the cost be, because the last plans we have, I think, were 2016, maybe. I think something like that. So, yeah.
But the Bay Park, I love the Bay Park. Like I said, I'm down there every other day or so.
Yeah.
I'm seeing softball games have already started. It gets a lot of use. I think the town keeps the park up in very good shape. And I wanted to ask you, I walk there a lot, and sometimes, hopefully it's just me thinking I lose my mind at times, but am I not remembering this correctly? It seems like last summer on along the seawall, on one of the steps down to go into the lake, you would put a pretty impressive walkway down to the lake, and that's gone. Did I dream that was there?
That was, I believe, what they called an ADA ramp. But
I guess it was for that. I'm not dreaming. That was there. So the lake, that just got washed out or something.
No, it was we took it out.
Oh, you took it out.
It was put in without permits back. And it wasn't quite done to spec, I guess, is what. So we were talking to the state, and we're gonna put another one in, but it's
interesting.
Yeah.
Boy, just one day I'm walking down there, I'm saying, wait a second.
It's impressive work, I guess. Yeah,
that's right. But you're gonna do something, put something else in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's no, you're not. You're actually the first person that brought that up.
Well, it's funny. I thought about it. I was down there yesterday. I thought of it again yesterday. You got to ask these guys about this.
Yeah, well, we have seawall work to do down there.
Mm-hmm.
We have work on the steps to do. Like we have.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work.
Yeah.
So,
there was some I remember, again, I've been walking there for years. There was some seawall work, I'm guessing maybe like 5 or so years ago. I think it was maybe a Grand Isle County company or anyway, so you've got more seawall work that you need to do or would like to do at some point. That's not cheap, I'm sure.
No, I think due to the flooding we had like 3 years ago, really raised havoc with it again. So.
Yeah.
But it's just rubble and stone, so I mean you're at mercy of the water and the ice at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It's not concrete, so it's going to move and the dirt behind it's going to give way. And
I trust, talking about the Bay Park, I trust farmers markets will come back with music. That'll be a Thursday event. How soon? I think the first Taylor Park downtown farmers market, I think, is coming up this Saturday, May 11th, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A little later for the town, for the end of May, I think. Is that usually when they kick in?
Yep. So the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
And there'll be music every week with that. Sean, Jonathan, is that the plan as far as you know?
Yep. As far as I know.
Boy, whoever put those together, that was a brainstorm. I mean, that tends to be a pretty well attended event on Thursdays.
It is. Yeah. It is.
And Bay Day, we have another Bay Day to look forward to. Boy, July 4th is on a Thursday. They're going to do it weekend after, weekend before, do you know?
I don't know that answer right now, actually.
Not the best day kind of for July 4th.
Yeah,
right?
And last year it was Tuesday.
No, and last year wasn't great. I'm sure it's probably the weekend before last year.
We did Sunday last year. It is going to be on a Saturday. I know that much.
Oh, is that right, Saturday?
If I had to guess, I'm gonna guess it'd be the weekend after, but I'm not even sure. I should have said that publicly because I'll ask John. I'll ask John. Yeah.
Fireworks presumably with this.
Yeah. Fireworks, music. Yeah.
Interesting.
We're actually doing more things during the day in between the race and the fireworks.
Oh yeah.
Last year was my first Bay Day, so I don't know if it was like this every year, but there's a big lull in between the race, basically the whole afternoon.
Right. Yeah.
So we've added a couple different bands and some other little things for people to do and spend time there. during the day.
And again, last summer, I would, probably the same this summer, there are always other events in the park, seems like every several weeks there's another,
Yep.
event. So it sounds like it's a place that gets a lot, and will continue to get a lot of attention.
Yeah, we've had a number of groups, I believe, new events too
Yeah.
coming. Not a ton of them, but a couple of them that have called. And
Anything more to do at Cohen Park? Of course, I appreciated the tennis court going in. I think the dimensions were.
the pickleball court now, I think.
And pickle. So is it both tennis and pickleball, or do you just go over to pickleball with that?
I believe you can do both. I believe it's
Probably
mostly
both.
used as pickleball.
Yeah,
Um,
that is a great park, and
That is, and I'd love to leave it like it is. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to see much more there, because
Yeah.
it's quiet.
It
you
is,
know, if
yeah.
somebody just doesn't want all the hustle and bustle, they can just
Right.
go down there, lay a blanket down,
Yeah.
and they can just watch
No,
the
it's
lake and the
really
nice
nice.
sunset.
in fact, when occasionally I hear Richard, I wish you wouldn't talk about Cohen Park to the town people, for people who like it being pretty
Oh,
quiet. Not that this is going to get a
Yeah.
mob down there, but
Because
no, it's a real nice spot.
if you blink, you drive right by it, and with
Yeah.
a cedar head, you don't even really know
Right.
it's there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
Like-
sure probably a bunch of townspeople probably don't know it's there.
Yeah,
No, it's a real nice spot.
that's
It is,
beautiful.
yeah. We had good.
St. Albans Town Forest, I know, I guess there are more trails.
There are.
Anything still ongoing things going on up there?
Yep. Actually, just met with Andy Crossman a week or two ago.
Huh.
I don't know if you have had a chance to bring him on, but he's like the best possible person.
Sounds
that
like
could
a
be
good
the trail
person
steward.
to have.
Yeah.
Huh.
But he showed us the plan for the next extension, the new trail,
Huh.
and I know the long-term plan is to get that connected to other things too, like the Missisquoi
No,
Red Rail
that'd be
Trail.
great.
Yep. Yeah, and it's eventually, I mean, it's all about the connectivity. So if you could just, walk from the town up to the town forest or bike to it, I think that's kind of what the hope would be.
Yeah. The acreage up there is what? You know what the acreage is?
170.
Is it? Oh, really? It's pretty,
I think
that's a good hunk of land.
Yeah, it's a good chunk.
Yeah.
I think there's some other. I heard that there might be some other people up there that might donate or give or whatever some land to make that even bigger.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Andy's. Well, the
Already
plan.
working
The plan is to connect to the rail trail, and Andy Crossman is very devoted to that, and
Mhm.
I think you're going to see that sooner than later. Like, I
Huh.
think he's got.
It's already in the works.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got like approval from landowners, and
Really?
they're all on board with it, and they're
Yep.
willing to work with him, and
Wow.
because they got some maple sugaring stuff that might be
Yeah.
be a burden at first, but we're going to work together, or they're going to work together on it and get
Yeah.
through it. I think it's going to be connected
It is. Yeah.
shortly.
Oh, that's great. Of course, St. Albans Town a few years ago narrowly decided not to jump in with the city on the community swimming pool. In fact, I'm talking to the city rec people later today. But the town is but for a St. Albans Town resident, they're paying the same as a city resident, so the town is subsidizing
Yeah.
some of that cost.
Yeah, yeah, I pushed for that a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and the board finally, we all agreed on that we should,
Yeah.
equalize the rates, and we do. I voted for the pool originally too. I really.
Well,
I think
very
that's
near, I think it
so
was, what,
great.
about 40 votes or so it went in? It was pretty close
Well,
vote.
it's 30, so half would be
Wow.
6, it was like 15, 16, one way or
Wow.
the other. Like, it was close, like, yeah, we were counting the ballots, and
Wow.
it was pretty close.
So you voted for that?
Oh, definitely. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of the biggest things in your community is, like, your youth. Like, you gotta have
Yeah.
things for them to do, and,
Yeah.
keep them out front of, off their VR headsets all day. Like, get them into the pool, get programming.
Yeah.
The rec center has an awesome programming department for the kids.
Yeah.
Like, that should, and it grows every year, which it should, because the community's growing
Yeah.
also. Like, that's one of the things St. Albans has, is a great rec department,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'll certainly mention your comment to the rec people later, but no, it sounds like there's a lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And Hard Act, sounds like there's even a lot more potential out at Hard Act, just, no, there are a lot of resources. Bob Cross, of course, a former longtime St. Albans Town Fire Chief, retired as Fire Chief, but is still the town's public safety administrator.
Yeah.
And again, is he still, and I've talked to him on the show before, is he looking, this may be his last year for that, or is that Is that clear?
Uh,
Has he been, I forget if he's been real clear about that or not.
I'll defer to him on that one, I guess.
Yeah, so you're not sure, but
Not
he's
sure.
still there, still there now.
Yep.
Interesting. And Chief Mulheron, I guess, is what, chief of both city and town fire departments?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about the city and town getting together on things.
Yeah.
Merger of the fire departments doesn't sound like the craziest thing. Is that getting some attention? Has that come up at all?
No,
No,
It did came up,
we
but
have,
Yeah.
it's not.
nothing you're diving into at this point?
No.
Mm-mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was open to it, but there's other people that aren't, so,
All right.
yeah.
But it's still, in general, feelings about city and town, I mean, issues for years and stuff, it certainly sounds like city and town relations seem to be in relatively pretty good shape these days, or am I?
I think so.
exaggerating
Like,
that?
you're not gonna get anywhere if you're fighting with your neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's just,
Yeah.
you can fight all you want, but you're just putting the town back further and further every time.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way I feel about it. Do we disagree on things? Yeah, probably every municipality doesn't agree
Sure.
with the neighboring municipality,
Yeah.
but you have to get along.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
often say, like, I'm glad I'm here when I'm here, because I hear about
You
the-
missed some, yeah.
I heard about
you
the
didn't,
past.
you didn't miss much for a while in some respects.
Yeah, but no, I have a good relationship with Dom and Tim and.
And you
a
talk
lot of
to
staff.
Dominic, you guys
Mhm.
are talk to each other?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just pick up the phone, give him a call, and
Yeah.
pretty quickly, yeah. It's good.
Interesting. The juvenile facility, it sounds like maybe you weren't worried about that at all after the state was looking into doing supposedly a temporary facility by Northwest State some time ago. But I guess they've got a site in Virgins that they're pushing
Mm-hmm.
with the old week school. That would mean nothing to you. I have vague memories of hearing what used to the site, but anyway, but it sounds like the state is pushing that. I guess I don't have a feel for now what the community is thinking about that. But in any case, state's not talking to you folks. I mean, sounds like the town made it pretty clear that had no interest, and I know you got a good turnout at a public meeting or two.
That was my
So
first.
it sounds like,
meeting.
no, was that was
Yeah,
the
that was
first
my
meeting?
first meeting.
Well,
Or
So-
are you not totally convinced?
well, no,
that-
I'm not totally convinced, because I think the community
Right.
could have got something for it.
Yeah.
Swanton, I was talking to my uncle, former town administrator from Swanton, and he was telling me how Swanton, or the state, approached Swanton years ago.
Oh,
And
you're
I-
talking about the work camp.
The work camp.
In fact, I thought that was not a bad idea,
You know what?
because the Swanton would have gotten a ton of stuff.
They
out
would
of
have
that.
got I forget all the details of it,
No,
but
I
they would have
remember that
gotten some
issue
stuff
well.
from the state,
Yeah.
and there was people that took out ads in the messenger. They put
Yeah.
up signs everywhere. They got voted down.
Yeah, got voted down,
Because
I think, pretty
negativity spreads,
decisively.
right? It
Yeah.
spreads. So I think we could have probably worked with the state and got something.
Yeah.
Like, people will complain about their taxes, not complain, and everything else, but
Yeah.
everything we can get,
Yeah.
every grant, every
Yeah.
little piece of,
Yeah.
and I don't think that would have put that much burden on to our police or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Like, the prison population changes all the time. Like, the burden of the police doesn't change all that much.
Yeah.
Like, I just think there's a mental health crisis going on across
Yeah.
the United States, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows about it, but everybody kind of, like, when that comes, like, if a adolescent or a youth's having an issue, it'd be nice to have a place for him to go.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel that we might have missed the mark just a little bit on
Yeah.
that. But I'm only one member out of the 5, so.
Yeah. No, I remember that issue well, and I'm just reporting on it, but didn't sound like a crazy idea to me. And I think the state made it clear. I think Swanton would have, but anyway, didn't make it.
Yeah. But that moved to another town in the southern
I
part
think-
of the state, and
is
that
that-
ended up closing up.
No, is that right?
Yeah.
Because I think St. Johnsbury maybe it still has. I think they had maybe a work camp too for a while. But
Yeah.
and interesting. Of course, for folks, I'm sure some folks know Swanton. We don't want to be, attached or affiliated with a prison and have that hung over us. Of course, the Northwest State Correctional Facility, which I hardly have to tell you guys,
Yeah.
still periodically as a Swanton address, still gets. Although the media seems like most of the media has finally picked up on it,
Yeah.
being in St. Albans Town, but I still hear Swanton every once in a while with
Yeah.
that. So Jonathan, back as chair, and with your at least year as chair, biggest issues, what, you have a lot of issues, but any one or two issues you're really looking to focus on?
Far as from my end of it, I don't think we
Yeah.
have too many big issues. You know, we got a lot of stuff going on. We got some sidewalks that are gonna start on the south end.
Yeah.
So that's good. The town hasn't put a sidewalk in many years.
Now, is
That's
that,
gonna
is that
be-
right?
Yeah, that'll be done by the end of the summer. Route
And the
7
south,
South.
where are we talking specifically?
It's like Route 7 South, as we call it. So
Yeah.
it's wherever the city ends, it pushes out down towards Prospect Hill.
Prospect.
Huh, okay.
So, you know, we got that going. We have a couple studies, you know, the one Sean talked about for the downtown area and stuff like that. I know we did talk about some water and sewer coming down to the bay at some point. You know, I think that will happen, hopefully at some point.
Have you got a rough price tag on what that would be right now if you extended water and sewer lines down there?
Yeah, I could dartboard it at $20 million, but who
The whole thing would
knows?
be, yeah.
Is that right?
About that.
That much, huh?
But who knows? Like, you know,
Could phased. It could be
yeah,
different,
how you phase it, how it depends, you know. The town's sitting at a pretty good spot. We still have our LOT money, which is, you know, last year it brought in over $1 million.
Mhm.
Is that
so,
right? Wow.
Yeah. So this year we're projected to do the same thing.
And of course, that's paying for the town hall and the public works garage.
Public Works garage is all paid
It's all
for.
That's paid, wow, that's
Yeah.
paid for.
Yeah, it's paid for.
Was that ahead of time, or was that just on schedule, whatever schedule you had?
We had LOT money and some grant money from the salt shed.
that's great.
That
So
actually
that's done.
paid it all. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Like
Same with these guys here, kudos to these guys.
Yeah.
They've got this place free and clear
Yeah,
now.
so things like that, I think are going on. It'll be interesting to see if we get a lot of complaints when the St. Albans Police Department takes over.
Yeah,
You know, because there's already some people are already complaining, you know, about the St. Albans Police Department. I hear it, but I just, you know, I'm like,
so some people unhappy with the change, or?
well, I think, you know, they like
Or
the
just
sheriff, they always obviously.
Imagine people sharing negative comments about something.
But yeah, right, and it spreads. I'm like, well, it's the same person that some of the same people used to,
Yeah.
you know, vice versa. Like it's, you know, we're a small community. Everybody knows everyone pretty
Yeah.
much. You know, I don't know,
Just change.
it's
Yeah.
change. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't like change
Yeah.
too.
But LOT, I think the town of Swanton is giving, or Swanton giving some thought to an LOT with all the stuff they have going, but
Mhm.
we certainly,
It's a no-brainer.
you don't hear too many people complaining about having to pay a little more because of the LOT, just the
No.
opposite probably, huh?
Hopefully it passes for Swan because
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
revenue generator. Like
Yeah.
it generates real money. Like, and you know, Swanton isn't really big, but they
Yeah.
probably won't generate $1 million a year. But even if they
Yeah.
generate 150, 200,000, like
Yeah.
it's still
And of
it's
course,
a
St.
good
Albans City did the
project.
same. Of course, the state loves it. The state picks up, what, a third or
Good job.
30% of that?
yeah.
A good
You can
job.
only assume
Yeah.
the state would be happy to have every community in the state do that, probably.
Mhm. And I've heard the
Insurance.
argument, you know, it's going to push out business or anything like that, but I haven't seen that. I've seen it in other places too. It's
Yeah.
not called the LOT, but it's similar thing.
Yeah,
And the kind of the message, the public message for getting it to pass or during that is all right, you have to spend an extra quarter on a $25 meal.
yeah,
You know, it does that.
yeah. No, when it came up in the town for vote, I can remember
Yeah.
at least one, a restaurant or two, not happy with that, but
Mhm.
it's pretty hard to picture someone not going to a restaurant just,
Mhm.
if they're gonna get hit for another
Yeah.
dollar or two or something, so. No,
Yeah.
it sounds like that's worked. It sounds like the town's done very well with that.
Yeah, I'd be curious if you did the math on what the tax increase, say if you had to pay for the town hall, if you
Yeah.
had to pay for the DPW,
Right.
if you had
Yeah.
to pay for sidewalks with the tax increase instead of
You'd
using
think it'd be a
LOT to
bigger,
pay.
bigger.
Oh, it'd probably be a
It would
bigger
be,
hit, especially if you're a business,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah.
And
I
obviously,
think
the big
perfect.
benefit, X number of people who don't live in St. Albans Town, obviously, are
Paying
helping to
into
pay
it.
for that,
Yeah,
paying
for
for
sure.
that. ARPA money, American Rescue Plan Act money, is there still some of that? Has that all been allocated, or have you still got some money to allocate for that, Sean, Jonathan?
Yeah, we still got a good chunk of it actually. Yeah.
That hasn't been appropriated
Yeah, it hasn't been obligated yet. We have to do that
Huh.
by the end of the year.
by calendar 2024?
Correct, and then it has to be spent by the September
2026
September
maybe?
26th.
A couple more years?
Yeah. Actually, what we talked about last night, we're spending a good chunk of it, probably 350,000 of it on finally digitizing our records.
Huh.
So people will be able to do title research and basically all the above online. So that's it's kind of, I would say, long overdue.
Yeah, like a lot of towns have it.
Yeah.
and
All right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I think that's very helpful for the community.
Yeah.
How much did the town get in ARPA money?
1.9.
1.9.
Just over 1.9. Yeah.
Well, and how much of that is left to figure out what to do with?
Probably just over $1 million right now.
So still,
If you take
that's
that.
still some money.
Yeah, we've got some big projects and stuff, and something like that kind of, as I'll say, rip the Band-Aid of the digitizing. It's just a unique opportunity where, barring another pandemic, we're not going to get that money again. So we're trying to spend it on things that kind of have future value in communities.
The firehouse for the St. Albans Town Fire Department, that's get some attention. Are you looking into a new firehouse at this point, or or adding to it? Or would it be a new firehouse? Is it not worth adding onto anymore if they needed more room, or
Right now, the aim is to build a new one.
like a new building?
Yeah. We've got our, what we call our fire department search committee, I think is what we've called it. It's a small group of us, so we're hoping to do it actually on the same site that it's on right now.
Oh, really? Same site?
Yeah. So we're working through that right now.
Would you put it in back? I assume you need to keep the current building in place until you have a new building, I assume.
That would certainly be my hope.
So you have there's some room there?
There are, yeah. We've spoken to the cemetery because they own the land there. But it's we're working through that right now. Doesn't mean it's going to end up being there, but that's the goal right now.
Yeah. How's the town fire department doing? Okay, volunteer. Another big issue that comes up with rescue squads and fire departments, just having trouble finding enough volunteers. Department's doing okay.
I believe Matt said last time we had that meeting with him, he had
Added 4 people.
No, really?
4 people, and I don't know if anybody left, but he had 4 new people. Is what he said.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's encouraging because
It's nice to hear.
I don't think we had 4 new people in that short amount of time in a while.
Yeah. He's doing more programs geared towards like high school and just getting the word out. Yeah.
Mentioned sidewalks, of course, an issue that came up before voters and was turned down some years ago. Just a rec path or sidewalk between SATEX and Albans Town Educational Center and Collins Purley. Is that particular issue, is that still get, talked about at all, or is that pretty much a dead issue at this point?
No, it's not dead at all.
Not dead?
Nope. The health path, I guess, plan, which I believe also VHB has been doing for us. That's the final report should actually be out this month.
Yeah.
So with the different alternatives.
Of course, one of the big issues is how to cross the state highway, whatever they call.
I put in for congressionally directed spending to try to get a pedestrian bridge, which is very expensive.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen this year or whatever. But
I guess there's been, South Burlington, there's pretty solid plan to have one, from University Mall over Interstate 89 back towards the city, it sounds like. Yeah, not a cheap date.
No, it's not, because I think it's not quite as easy as just putting a crosswalk in or another light, because then you're stopping traffic again. So it's, we've got to work. I know a tunnel's been talked about in the past, but that's kind of our ground zero for stormwater issues. So I don't know that a tunnel would be a great thing right there.
Sounds a little tough.
Yeah, but I guess long-winded answer to say yes, it's still active. Yeah.
Back to St. Albans Bay, talking about road issues, whereas, again, that's been getting attention, just the curve down by the dock there, by the convenience store and the restaurant, just a concern about that intersection. Is there still talk? Was there some talk about maybe a roundabout, a rotary there, or?
I believe there was talk before I was here, and that's also
hard to picture there being enough room for that.
Yeah, typically the rule of thumb. And shout out to Dave Allerton for this knowledge.
Your PW chief.
Yeah, you need about 100 feet for radius for a roundabout. I don't know that we've got that there. I know they've been talking about making that a four-way stop sign.
Four-way stop sign?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Stop intersection?
That's going to be included in the master plan too,
Yeah.
for the village center
Yeah.
district. So
We're talking about four-way stop sign intersections. It just, when I heard this years ago, the plan for Lake Street and Federal Street in St. Albans City, I'm just kind of shaking my head. And I hated that intersection.
Yeah.
I tried to avoid that before. I'm just blown away by how well I think that's worked. It just seems like it's worked way better than I would have thought.
what was that before?
Just see, it was, I guess what it was throughway for the Lake Street folks and Federal Street people just had to wait till they could go, but it was
Boy.
just an awkward. It wasn't it was
Yeah.
very. And I'm just stunned by how well I think that's worked.
Right. I think we still, well, I believe you're still talking with the state, or just started because when COVID happened, the negotiations with the state about taking over
Yeah.
Lake Road from the state kind of went silent. So those are being
Yeah.
kicked up. So it's ultimately, we kind of would like the state to pay for the intersection change before we took it over. We
Yeah.
kind of want everything paved again. Like
Yeah.
there's some stormwater culverts down through there that need to be addressed
Yeah.
before we take it over, stuff like that.
Yeah.
There is some land down there. There's some people that want to work with us. So
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
it's just add that to the list of that's this
Yeah.
long of stuff that we
Yeah.
need to do.
Yeah.
But we gotta keep vigilant on it and stay on it.
Yeah, I'm down there about every day, but I'm struck. It just seems like people have gotten used to, especially in summer with the creamy
Yeah.
place getting a lot of business, a lot of foot
Oh, yeah.
traffic. It seems like people are pretty careful, at least when I cruise by there and stuff. But I'm sure it could be improved. And parking's been that gets attention, or a lack of parking there.
Yeah.
But of course, you've got nearby. Of course, some people don't like to walk more than 5 or 10 feet or something. But obviously, there's parking in the Bay Park. But
Yeah.
anyway,
In the old town hall. They could
in
really
the
park
old town
there.
hall.
Yeah.
So well, a lot of that traffic too. Like, you can't just single it out to the creamy stand like that. That's been me and Carrie went around and round on that for a long
Oh
time.
no, not on me.
It's
It's
actually-
obviously Bay
yeah.
Park, Kilcare.
But-
I'm in Kilcare
Yeah.
the other day.
No. But like people that go there, a lot of the people
Yeah.
go out fishing on the dock with
Right.
it, and they park there. It's just
Right.
not going to the creamy stand, so
Right.
you can't really
Oh, yeah, no,
just
it's
blame it.
more
But there
than the
is
creamy
parking
stand.
there. But you're right. The
Yeah.
Bay Park has 200-300 spot maybe.
250.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not that far. But I get it. Everything's time nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's under time to just,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think if we do take over that road, I think we could probably make some more parking down there also,
Yeah.
for sure.
So again, subjects we've talked about before. Walmart. The thinking when Walmart came in, well, there'll certainly be a Lowe's or Home Depot out there, and I think Lowe's did have some early interest years ago. But no, not hearing anything like that out that way.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
Camping World
Yeah.
is about the only thing up there.
And across from Collins Pearly, again, the expectation or the hope was there'd be a restaurant out there. Well, that was that hope hasn't been resolved for a long time. No,
Mhm.
I guess was it just a rumor about a Denny's for a while? But that one, of course, the
Before
Denny's
me.
in
Yeah.
South Burlington is
I
even
think somebody
dead.
started that
Yeah,
rumor.
so some
Those
crazy
restaurants
rumor.
it's hard
Yeah.
due to the population. You
Sounds
see
like
the
a pretty
ones-
tough. I know it's a tough business, but boy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good, but those places need to be full every hour
Yeah.
they're open.
Yeah.
To make it work.
yeah,
It's an attractive site location. It's just a matter of
yeah. And you've
Something.
got Collins Pearly. You got a pretty busy place
Yeah.
at times, right across the street. But
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Sean, you've been on the job for how long now?
just about a year. I've been
Just
involved for a year now.
So about a year.
I did some virtual meetings and stuff actually for the prison. That was
Huh.
just as after I got announced. That
Interesting.
was put in my lap. But yeah, it's been a year. Yeah.
So good. It's been a good year for you. Your first year
Yeah.
up here in the North Country.
Very busy. Very
Yeah.
busy. Not as cold as I thought it would be, but
No, believe me,
I'll get there.
I'm
Yeah.
a former cooperative weather observer for the Weather Service. You want to see some weather data? I can bring you back to the
Yeah.
even 60s, maybe 70s, 80s. It's
Yeah.
winters have gotten really a lot softer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You missed some pretty intense cold there.
Yeah, I didn't see any trucks driving across the lake, which I've been told
Yeah,
happened quite a
Really,
bit.
boy, the lake didn't even come. In fact, that's funny you mentioned that. Out of Kilcare, where I go frequently,
Yeah.
still open water into January anyway. I guess finally a little ice came in there, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was a very soft winter.
yeah. We even had to, I think, cancel the ice fishing tournament. I
Yeah,
think, or
probably not
something. Or it
sure.
was
it
ice
wasn't
hockey.
the best ice fishing
Pond
winter.
hockey. that's
Yeah,
what it
I'm an
was.
avid
Or
ice
pond
fisherman.
hockey.
I haven't been in 2 years.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's been a good year.
So any biggest surprises or any big surprises to the job or being up here for a year or tougher job than you thought or more complicated or did you get pretty much what you were expecting?
I got pretty much what I was expecting on that front. It's I kind of joke with a few people about this. Working is just an economic development side of it.
Yeah.
You just get used to most of the news I would bring to the community would be, hey, look at this, this positive, exciting thing.
Yeah.
And I knew full well that wouldn't be the case in a role like this. That's really honestly the biggest difference is just, how the things that I'm talking about publicly are just, run the gamut of happy and not so happy.
So I know you mentioned economic development. That was
Mhm.
part of when you were hired. That was going to be part of your. Has that been less of a focus? Is there kind of less of that going on and more of everything else, or?
For me, it all ties in.
Yeah.
I know it's just I don't even like saying out loud the stormwater word, but stormwater, water, sewer, all that. I think without that figured out or available, even it's tough to really do any genuine economic development.
Yeah.
It's a different economic development landscape in Vermont too. So I've kind of had to get the lay of the land on that front, find out what's at my disposal and different groups and all that, and working with FCIDC and just really also getting to know the local developers, because I basically went from having a decent little Rolodex of developers down south and then came up here and just had to start anew. So it's just been a lot of I haven't been bored. that's for sure. But yeah, we're getting there. We're between FCIDC and the city and our LOT. I think we're really kind of gearing up to be able to make some pretty significant moves.
Well, maybe fortunately with this subject, but stormwater down to just a couple minutes or so. But again, there are a number of stormwater projects you're dealing
Mhm.
with.
Oh yeah, about 14 of them just
Probably
on
about 14.
just on the MS4 one alone,
Yeah.
if not more than that.
Wow.
Yep, we're about to start the Tanglewood project and Clyde Allen, and yeah, I could probably fill up an hour here just with the stormwater projects alone.
Sounds like
Yeah.
St. Albans City has some also. How many communities? It's not like a ton of communities in the state are dealing with this.
MS4 ones, yeah,
Yeah.
I believe that's in the 12 to 14 range.
Really?
Yep.
And St. Albans City and Town being two of them.
Yep. Who else is? Burlington, obviously.
Yeah.
But other ones that I was surprised aren't, too.
Huh.
I don't know what went into it from the state side, but from my understanding, it was they told the communities that they were MS4. So
Really.
I'd welcome it if they took us off that list.
Lake Champlain water quality, of course, a huge issue for years in St. Albans Town, St. Albans Bay. Does that subject come up too much, or Jonathan, it kind of is what it is? It's really been.
Well, it is what it is to a certain point.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do things to help,
Yeah.
whether or not we do the right things to help. Like, I'm all for cleaning that lake up. I'm an avid fisherman, well, I
Yeah.
used to be. But
When
like,
you had time to fish.
when I had time to fish. But, anything we can do, but I want to make sure that we're doing the right things.
Yeah.
And I think, there's the whole legacy phosphorus that's already in the bay. That's like
Yeah.
the biggest contributor to all the algae blooms.
Yeah.
And I think there might be plans moving forward to remove that. There's all different kinds of plans, but you got to come up with the funding for it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can put a stormwater pond in and try to mitigate a pound or 2 or 10 of phosphorus, but is that really going to help? No, not
Yeah.
really. Like, you don't want to add, but you want to make, I think we got to also move forward on, well, it won't be us, but, cleaning up the lake in general. You know, there's stream bank erosion that happens every time it rains, you know, that's a big contributor also.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't seem to have a lot of focus on it.
Yeah, on that note, we're out of town, but it sounds like a lot of stuff coming up in St. Albans Town this summer, hopefully a good summer. Thanks to Jonathan Giroux, the St. Albans Town Select Board Chairman, Sean Adkins, the St. Albans Town Manager. Thanks for your time. Thanks to my man Alan Cunningham, our producer. I'm Richard Cowperthwait. Thanks for watching us here on Northwest Access TV, and see you next time.